Yeah, welcome to my channel. Um, let's start off by saying these are my opinions and my opinions alone. You don't have to agree with them or agree, whatever it may be. If you disagree or agree, you're welcome to put it in the comment section. I do read my comments and I do respond to them when they warrant a response. It's not to the point where I didn't hate it. I mean, it was by far better than the third installment of the movie, but it was nowhere near what the first nor the second one was. Put it on honestly, put it bluntly. Um, quite honestly, if I had a choice, like ranking one, two, three, four, I mean, the first two were first one by far better. Second one, not as good as the first, but just close enough to it. Then number four, and then number three, because number three, let's be honest, that was just like put together and thrown together, and it was just a hodgepodge of crapola. The fourth installment, they were trying to. It seems like they were trying to. It seems like with all these movies as of late and series, that they're trying to throw in nostalgia, the nostalgic aspect of things, and I think and try to force it, and I think that's the wrong idea. I mean, one of the nice things about it was his interaction with Bronson Pinchot or Serge, if, for the character. Their um, their interaction sort of reminded me of the first one, first season, first movie, but not as much so per se. But outside of that, everything else seemed sort of forced per se. Um, it was one of those things where you can tell that Eddie Murphy wasn't as keen being in this movie. I think he wanted to end it on the third one, at least, and like knowing full well how the third ended. I think it was one of the. You could see that he was getting tired, to the point of, like, you could see there were scenes where like he was energetic, but then during that scene, it seems like it was non-energetic, as though it was like like in the middle of those editing scenes where they're cutting and such. Like he was doing it probably so long that for the scene that he's like I'm done with it, and it just felt came in basically from that aspect. Um, I'll say this. I mean, it was entertaining. It was entertaining. The premise was entertaining, at least, and it feels like, not to take anything away from, again, not to take anything away from Kevin Bacon, but him being in this, I think it was just overkill. I don't think Kevin Bacon should have been in this movie as the character. Him going in as a villain, but as a villain with some comedic aspect, didn't fall through in this. I would say. Same thing with, I would say, to the point of Jason Gordon-Levitt. I think he was just pushed into this a little bit as well too. Quite honestly, I think that was more reminiscent of Lethal Weapon 3. With the Chris Rock character introduced in Lethal Weapon 3. I think, or Lethal Weapon 4. Sorry, Lethal Weapon 4. I'm sorry, Lethal Weapon 4. I think in this, Jason Gordon-Levitt being introduced as sort of a guy that grew up on the Axel Foley aspect of things, even though he wasn't aware of him per se. It sounds like that was kind of forced a little bit as well too. I mean, quite honestly, I think the premise could have worked on itself a little bit more. I did like one thing though, is the aspect of, like, the whole concept of Kevin Bacon, his character, outright bluntly, like, outright bluntly basically is accepting the role of, like, yeah, I'm the villain here, or more so not the character, but not more so the actor, but the character itself basically is like, yep, I'm bad, come and do something about it. And what is he gonna do? Because, like, he protected himself in a ways, but the fact that the character Sergeant Taggart, or Captain Taggart, whatever you want to call him now, was more so to the point like he was refusing to. I mean, it would have been interesting. I would have said this would have been interesting, is if not only Kevin Bacon's character, but if the character Taggart was in on it, to the point of, like, Foley had no choice but to take him down, as well as Billy, the character Billy, that Reinhold plays, Judge Reinhold plays, that to the point of, like, they had to take down Taggart, and they find out Taggart was also part of it. That would have been very. I think it would have been interesting. Put it that way. It would have been an interesting twist to the fact that they had to take him down for because of that. Um, but outside of that, I'll say this is like, fortunately, it was on Netflix and it wasn't in the movie theaters. Because if it was in the movie theaters, I don't think I would have definitely wanted my money back. Quite honestly, I would have definitely wanted my money back. Unless, of course, it was paid for by T-Mobile Tuesday or you know, $5 discount, whatever it may be. But fortunately, it was on Netflix. So fortunately, you know, like, you know, being a Netflix member, I was able to see it for, I don't want to say for free, but at least it was part of it, so that it was okay in that aspect. That I wasn't too pissed off to say it's like I lost my money. I mean, I would say this is like I did lose 2 hours of my time, kind of reclaim those 2 hours reading a book or so of sort, basically. But outside of that, I felt like the jokes also were falling flat. Quite honestly, some of the jokes that were going on there were falling flat as well too. Outside of the Bronson Pinchot, um, Eddie Murphy interaction, um, I think that had some levity to the, or brevity. I mean, sorry, brevity to the scenes. But outside of that, I think it fell flat. Some of the jokes. And if you're a fan of the first movie as well as the second movie, then you'll not understand why. But with that, I'll leave it at that. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think of the movie Beverly Hills Cop Axel F or BHC Axel F? Do you think it was funny? Do you think it was great? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Outside of that, I'll leave it at that. If you like my video, like my content, like my channel, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. With that, I'll leave it at that. Unfiltered, unedited, and of course, always unrehearsed. Until next time.